So, not all wish lists are created the same. But what do I mean with that? Well, it's pretty simple, really. Some wish lists have a bigger intrinsic value than others. Why is this? Well, the short and long of it is that some wish lists will convert into a sale and some won't, with various factors affecting the likeliness of this conversion. And that's the only metric that really matters when you think about it, is the sale that the wishlist potentially converts into. So, what affects that conversion possibility? Well, the biggest thing, I think, is time. But other factors come into play too, like the age and demographic of the wishlister, the way in which they found the game to begin with, and the level of interest they have in the game. And that's the problem with wishlists. They seem to indicate 100% interest, when in reality it might just be 10%, 25%, or 50%. There is no real way of knowing. Perhaps a tiered wishlist system would make more sense, but that would be a nightmare to implement logistically. Imagine a system where red meant little interest, orange meant middling interest, and green meant great interest. That way, you would actually know if people are wishlisting your game with intent to buy, which is all that really matters. If someone wishlists your game and they decide not to buy it, that wishlist was virtually worthless. It was a metric. Now, the normal conversion rate for wishlists are about 10 to 25%. If you fall anywhere within that metric, your game is on the average. Going above that would be really difficult, and being below that would be a sign that your game was not what people were expecting. That's the thing though, you only get to know these insights after the game's release. So let's discuss these factors a little bit more. Time between wishlist made and conversion opportunity. If your demo comes out in 2020 and your game comes out in 2024, there is a massive discrepancy between the time someone saw your game for the first time and the time they see it is being released. In fact, with a time gap of 4 years, the chances are that they now have no clue what your game even is anymore. They probably don't even remember it. Think about it. When did you last buy a game that you wishlisted before the pandemic? That's how you have to think about it. You have to be realistic with yourself. Time is perhaps the biggest factor. And so it becomes super vital that you don't underestimate this aspect of development and marketing. How can you manage this? Well, it's easy really, yet very few do it. A tight schedule. Plan ahead and let your potential player base know the plan. The best way to do this is by publishing a roadmap on your game's page. The paradox of age in relation to time and money. It goes like this. The older you get, the more money you have, but the less time you have. So what does this mean for developers' marketing strategies? Well, it means that you need to target your demographic very carefully and specifically. Of course, your demographic and audience are based on other factors such as genre and interests too, but age is also vital. Generally, if you are not making a children's game, you should target in the 25 to 35 age demographic. Most people in that age gap that are gamers are quite active and are likely to buy a game that they like. If you go too young, your demographic has no money to spend on games, and if you go too old, generally the interest for gaming has subsided or died down entirely. How do you target specific age groups? Well, through cold contact and direct searches a lot of the time. Depending on the scale, and other times paid marketing will have good demographic selections, but we can talk more about that in a marketing specific video. How was your game discovered by the potential player? Was your game found through effective marketing, a YouTuber or a streamer picking up your game, word of mouth, or just happenstance? Most of the time, you will go to the player. You'll make efforts to show the player the game and hopefully convert them into potential players and therefore customers. The thing is, many of the times a new player is made, it isn't as a result of your efforts directly. Many of your players will come from the platform itself. Steam is naturally the biggest, so let's use it as an example. Now look, I'm not trying to say that the Steam page isn't your effort. I mean, it is, since you do have to make that page, and it's vital that it's done well. But I'm more referring to the direction of the player's traffic to that page. You are responsible for getting people to click on your game. Steam is responsible for giving them that opportunity. Make sure they take it. And if they do, if someone clicks on your game, make sure they wishlist it. You only have that one chance with that player to win them over. In the future, I'll make an in-depth video about setting up a good Steam page. The level of actual interest in the game. How interested is the potential buyer really in your game, and how can you quantify it? Well, you can't, not really, but you can try. Here's the thing, someone might wishlist your game, but that doesn't always mean they have any intention of actually buying it. In fact, they usually don't. Many players will wishlist just because they were asked to in a video or advertisement, or maybe because it looks mildly interesting. But that doesn't actually mean anything. A wishlist is only valuable if it evolves into a conversion, which is where the difference between success and failure lies. You might be able to get someone to wishlist your game, but can you make them buy it? If not, that wishlist is worthless. That sounds harsh, I know, but it's true. You don't need metrics, you need sales. So, those were the 4 main factors when it comes to wishlists and their conversion. What can you do as a developer to ensure that the wishlists you are getting are valuable and have a higher chance of converting to a sale? Well, honestly, not that much. The biggest thing is to make sure that you advertise and market in ways that promote sustainable growth and development. For example, if you choose to promote by paying big YouTubers to play your game and promote your game, choose one or many with an audience or audiences that you know are real and are actually interested in gaming. A good example would be Warzone and Jack Frags. Make sure the marketing aligns with the game and its potential audience. This way you'll target players that might be within your niche and audience. If you are developing the next big Doom clone, for example, you don't want to be marketing to Tekken or FIFA players. Of course, many players love many genres, but most players stick to one or two. There is more value in targeting a niche than trying to get everyone to love your project. Thank you for watching and following along. If you have any questions, please drop them below and I'll definitely send you a response. Like and subscribe for more as we traverse and try to survive this indie dream together. Until next time, keep converting.